After watching the film Avengers Endgame, I was ecstatic. I felt like I had just watched the epic culmination of 10 years of Marvel films that had, in some way, in very measurable ways, affected my life. This culmination felt like the end of an era, a blazing, glorious fire that could mark the end of 10 years of hard work by many different artists. Oh, what a day. Wait, now that I think about it, the time travel not having any consequences kind of makes no sense and removes a lot of potential from the story. Also, why is it that when you take the Infinity Stone out of one timeline, it ruins everything, but
Also,
when Thanos
what
destroyed
was
the
that
stones
battle
himself, it
between
didn't
Hawkeye
destroy
and Black
anything?
Widow? I mean, come on, they were constantly
why is
making
Thanos
jokes
able
with
to
each
take
other
on
while
three Avengers with
sacrificing their
just
own
normal
lives.
So are we just going to
armor
gloss over the fact that
when
Banner can
in the last film he could barely take on
aging?
Thor with
Captain
the
America didn't have to
Infinity
die. They could have
Gauntlet.
just de-aged him and boom, the movie
Oh
could have
god,
continued.
no, CGI heads floating in the sky.
To cut back to reality, it does seem like Endgame may not have been as good as all of us thought it was. Or maybe it was just me and I'm dumb. But this made me coin something I like to call the Endgame effect. The Endgame effect is a term that I invented, if you don't count this lovely submission by Urban Dictionary user CG Tim, but to be fair, it only has 3 likes. Personally, I define the Endgame effect as a psychological effect in which the ending of a film, book, TV show, etc. overshadows the lesser quality of the rest of the story. The first time I noticed the Endgame effect was when I was editing my film Knock at My Scoops, in English The Next Scoop, a film which no one's ever going to see because it's bad, but the rest of the film is horrible, but the ending is good. Ish. It's not the greatest ending I've ever made, but it's very noticeable increase in quality. I guess I just had a lot of creative motivation for the last 40 seconds. It's a dramatic music underlying interesting dialogue where the villain of the story explains his plan and it ends with him killing our protagonist. It's quite dramatic and very interesting. And I've never really made something of that tone. And then after watching, I was like, oh, okay, that's a good short film. But then I was doing some remastering, some little edits here and there, and I noticed that the rest of the film was of far lesser quality. Well, that's interesting, I thought. Where else have I noticed this? And then I instantly thought of the film that I mentioned at the start of this video, Avengers Endgame. Thus, the Endgame effect. So, with the Endgame effect defined, and one example already named, I'd like to name 2 others in different types of media, just in case you never thought about it before, and how maybe your perception might change. Or not, you might be smart and have already seen the glaring issues with these properties. Stranger Things kind of does this every season. They always have a mysterious unknown entity, which the children then investigate, and then once they've investigated it, there's a big climactic battle and a cliffhanger. Every season, the finale is an increase in quality. You can even see it by the IMDb scores of the episodes. In the first season, I would forgive it. But in the second and third, it was really noticeable. To such a degree that in the third season, I'd argue the only reason to watch the show was to watch the final episode. Now, Season 4 has decided to divide itself in the most stupid way possible by releasing the finale a month and a bit later. But maybe they'll have resolved it by then. We can only hope and see. Martin Eden is a book I listened to not too long ago, and while it is very good all throughout, it couldn't be considered the near masterpiece that it is considered today without that ending. That ending changed everything. It really hits you and punches you in the stomach. I don't want to spoil it because I sincerely recommend that you listen to it. Also, there's a lot of N-words, so if you don't like that, then I guess the spoiler warning wasn't really worth anything. In this case, I think the Endgame effect comes to complement the book, not demean it, since even though the quality of the ending far overshadows the rest of the book is still good. It's not great, it's not excellent, but it is good. So, in this case, it seems like the endgame effect is not always a bad thing.
In conclusion, the Endgame effect is truly fascinating, and since I noticed in my own short film,
Bro, this is my thing. Go. This is my thing. Give me that.
In conclusion, the endgame effect is truly fascinating, and ever since I've noticed it in my film, I've noticed it in so many other places. And though it might be self-aggrandizing to say that an effect I invented is fascinating, I genuinely believe it is. And I really hope that in the future, when you're watching a film and you're really impressed by the end of it, is it just the end of it you're impressed by? Or was it genuinely a great film all throughout? Thank you for watching, and as always, Arla bunakti.